Whoa, we're back for part 4.
By now.
Say, Witcher,
Give
come
us
over
this
here.
whole plow.
What?
Give
Say,
us this
Witcher,
whole
come over
power.
here.
Oh.
What do you want?
We of noble birth always had to protect the plebs from their own stupidity.
What is
If not for us, the world...
I don't have time to listen to songs praising the nobility. Know anything about the attempt on Saskia's life?
No, I don't. But whatever the truth, the mob cannot lynch one of royal blood.
So truth means nothing to you. That's what makes us different.
Ooh.
I didn't say I don't care about truth. Just keep in mind there's a world order that mustn't be destroyed.
An order that allows injustice.
If the prince turns out to be involved in this attempted murder, he should face a tribunal. The rabble doesn't understand the principles ruling the world.
Or they do understand them and simply don't like them.
Saskia is a wise woman, but there's one thing she doesn't take into consideration. This war will be over one day. Who will sow the crops and milk the cows then? Saskia called the serfs to arms. Do you think they'll want to plough fields again?
You may be right, but it's certainly not my business who'll plow your fields. Farewell.
Roll it down, you surly dog!
You'll change your tone when we put a sickle to your throat.
Save your threats for your hob.
I'd gladly hear
Tell me more.
situation.
Tell me more.
Someone reasonable. It's obvious Henselt bribed some serf who then did what he was told.
Go on.
Just think it through. The prince couldn't have done it. The wine was in plain sight. Only the servants touched the decanters, and who are they? Commoners. Then that same commoner incited his folk to stand against the nobles and the prince.
Something to think about.
Who could it be?
Enough of this charade! Try to be reasonable, folks! Sit down and talk in peace! We've talked enough! Come on, lads, let's drag the prince from his hovel!
Vergen's not a cesspit for anyone to shit in. There are laws to uphold. Scalenburden's job is to uphold them.
There's no law allowing a serf to threaten a king's scion. I, Silgrat, brother of Seltkirk, the greatest knight to walk Edirnian land, say so.
Does it matter who was born in a castle and who in a pigsty? Any fool can prejudge and condemn. It's easier to accuse than to prove guilt.
A peasant servant claims that Prince Stennis supposedly attempted to kill Saskia. Why would the prince do such a dastardly deed? Bear in mind how eminent is his lineage. That's why the mongrel covets the crown. Do you even remember how valorous he was towards Saskia during the negotiations with Henselt? Pretending to be with her he was, sly fox. Taking the simple peasants in. But us lads ain't so dumb as you lords think. See for yourselves how the commoners hate the prince, spitting venom like adders. They hatched a plot to dispose of him.
Saskia's servant said that...
Where is this servant, might I ask? If he's got something to say, why does he hide like a thief? The answer is simple. He's a fraud. He's hiding to save his skin from you, whoresons. Squirrels have to guard him. One last question. How could the prince poison Saskia? It's a known fact that servants taste wine from the barrels before the virgin sips it.
A good point. We can't be sure if the prince poisoned the wine.
Stennis is blowing hot and cold. Everyone knows that. You were supposed to prove his guilt, not insult him, yokel.
You yokel.
A peasant wanted to hurt the miss? Never. It's cause of her you noble dogs can't ignore us. A pig won't cut its own throat. A peasant's not foolish enough to raise his hand against his savior. Perhaps it is no peasant's deed. However, that doesn't mean the prince is guilty, fool. Answer me this. Was not Stennis' room next to Saskia's? Do not the wines come from his own lice-ridden cellar? Can he not enter the Virgin's kitchen at will? Yes. His serene dumbhead the prince can, curses on his kin. Nobody in Vergen wants to kill Saskia. And even if they want it, nobody but Stennis could do it.
You're wrong, Colton. Reverend Olkin wanted to get rid of Saskia. He thought she was a monster at heart.
Olkin was on Stennis' leash like a dog. How dare you, lout! Do you imagine if someone sits next to a married lady, he's surely fucking her?
He's tried to convince Prince Stennis to join the conspiracy.
Is Stennis some dimwit foundling that he dances to a lousy priest's tune? Alcan got what he deserved when Hensel cleaved his head. Now it's Stennis' time.
There is no proof the prince agreed.
The priest asked him for admittance to the kitchen.
So he didn't poison the Virgin himself, but allowed her to be poisoned.
It appears Stennis would benefit the most from Saskia's death.
Your Highness, this is dangerous.
I am not afraid.
You fool!
Fear is a commoner's trait, unfit for one with royal blood running in his veins. What do you want, to judge me? Is a prince a common thief who steals a dozen eggs at the market? You stand before royal majesty, and you raise your hands against it. In this world there are crimes that can be forgiven, and crimes that, by any means, cannot. Just as a mother killing her own child, or a man slitting his own brother's throat cannot be forgiven. A crime against one anointed by the gods themselves also cannot be condoned. He who raises hand against divine right is not worthy to walk
You
this
tell him,
world.
Stennis.
And what about he who poisons the Virgin of Eden? Firstly, Saskia is alive.
I poisoned no virgins.
Death. Secondly, you have no proof that it was I who tried to murder her. And thirdly, I assure all gathered here, I won't rise above the law. However, only she, the Virgin of Eden, can judge me. Can he? And if Saskia won't get well, who's gonna judge you? I believe she can be cured. But if the gods decide otherwise, we'll summon a coven of the wise who can pass just sentence.
Those are words worthy of a true sovereign.
I am the one you should look to for guidance. Let my deeds be the flame that lights up your darkness.
The prince has a right to a fair trial, no matter if he's guilty or not. We can't deny him that. What will the peasants do if we hand them the prince? Will they hear him out? No. They'll hang him from the nearest tree or tear him limb from limb. What will
Kinda like the Witcher 3 trailer.
What if people see that might makes right? Who'll guarantee they won't desire to?
Oh, hey girl, what are you doing? Oh, not much. Monsters.
Who'll protect people whose only fault is noble birth from the exasperated mob? And where will it be?
Exasperated. And though the event unfold, the dwarves are hauling the full-grown man away. He's got to crouch to.
Peasants are furious.
That would be so awkward because it would just be a slight bend in the knee or bend in the knee.
Dennis, and won't. It'll be that way until Saskia regains consciousness.
She won't keep order by strength alone.
Unless it's a great strength.
We need an authority
Indeed, Yovath.
and royal blood.
Indeed.
5 courts go to waste in the dwarven dungeon at the moment.
There's also Henselt.
Going into that haunted mist is madness. Stealing Stennis away would be easier.
No. Anything involving Stennis will cause a riot.
I've had enough of the peasants and nobles barking. Saskia's the best leader I know, but she can't hope to defeat Henselt's army with this rabble, which is why I'm going to get reinforcements.
Where?
4 Squirtal units await in hiding to the east. Time to summon them.
You'll make it in time?
I must.
And so he went. Talk to Philippa. Alright, cool, we're moving on through. And with that, I'll call that the end of part 4.